Maybe movies.
Are you alright?
I'm just excited to see what happens next.
Is that his first bowl?
I think it might be his fourth. He's going to explode soon, you know?
You don't want to go in the toilet after me.
Third act.
Oh.
Thank you.
It is third act. It is
Third act.
Does everyone have that strange feeling of deja vu?
A little bit.
Just a tiny smidgen.
Do you?
Might be the delirium we're in.
It could be.
Could be.
Maybe there's a crack in the delirium somewhere.
That's right. That's
There's a
right.
fissure.
Never-ending episode.
We'll be getting into that later. No.
So Act 3.
Yes, hello, and welcome back to Delirium Studios, where we make movies that you will never see, ever.
And with that happy thought,
Yes, thank you for joining us again. We are now up to our final episode of the month, where we are going to try and finish our new movie Near London, and at the end of it, we will have the wonderful task of deciding which of these two new films should be crowned our maybe movie of the month, and the movie that we would like to petition the movie gods to have made into a final feature that we can go and watch at the pictures. Just before we do, one very quick shout out, which today is for a channel I recently discovered, which is called Channel Hex. It's the channel of a gentleman called Laurie Brewster, who does movie reviews. He has guests on there, actors, writers, that kind of thing, to discuss various aspects of much-loved films. One that I can really recommend is him discussing who's better out of Brian Cox or Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter.
alright, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of a, side-by-side comparison.
Yes, with some really nice ad-libbing at the end where him and a couple of his friends take the opportunity to reenact a particular scene from Silence of the Lambs, or who can do their best Hannibal Lecter impersonation.
Oh, okay.
It's worth a look, and he's brilliant hosting. There's something very Eddie Izzard about his delivery.
Oh, right, it's okay.
So it's
Intriguing.
very entertaining to watch. With that done, oh dear. I think, did you want to say something?
If you guys haven't checked it out, please do. It's 1986, a Batman fan film featuring the Punisher. The Thomas Jane, star of The Punisher, 2005?
I think so, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
2003. He approved of the film. He sent a nice tweet out to the cast and crew of how impressed he was with it. But yeah, if you haven't, we'll try and put a link in there somewhere, and please do give it a watch.
Please do, folks.
If we're all good, let's try and put this abortion back together.
Alright, we've gotten a beginning of the Act 3, but how are we going to move forward here? This is starting to look a little tricky.
It is, and unfortunately it's going to mean possibly kind of leaping back in time a bit and maybe reinserting some stuff back into the earlier acts.
Okay.
Just so that it still holds water when we get to the end.
Because we've got them at the motel, but there's no Sarah, there's no Loy, no mum and sister or dad and sister to complicate matters and bring it to a head. How is this going to move forward?
Okay, so we know that we've got our Dr. Hirsch is now involved in the case, been brought in by the police.
Oh, Dr. Hirsch, yes.
Certainly by this point, with regards to all of the stuff that's happened up in East Proctor, all of the stuff that's happened all the way down on their journey through the country.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing I think is then, I think this is the point where we need David to find out about Jack. That seems to be like an inciting incident that will keep the plot moving.
Okay. How is that going to happen then? How's it going to come up?
Could David somehow find out from going past a shop window with a TV on it with like a news bulletin that says that Jack is dead, so he doesn't have to find out?
Yeah,
he could find out from a character, I don't know, or
if they're in a different hotel now,
Yes, they are, definitely.
then yes, we can either go A, he sees it on the TV while in the room. My other thought would have been, what if, and again, we have to allow because movie, the movie is full of coincidence.
Well, we're kind of having to stretch here, so I guess it kind of comes with the territory.
So they've got to this hotel, David's gone to the bar, or he's just in one of the lobbies or something.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Hirsch, from having been up and investigated all the stuff that happened in Birmingham, is coming past and happens to stop there. completely random circumstance, recognises David. That at least allows our two characters to meet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he can reveal, because by this point he will have probably, if not done a full autopsy, would have at least seen Jack's body.
I mean,
And he could tell him.
how much more coincidental is it than him bumping into his sister at a motel? It's not that far out of the stretch of reason that he could bump into the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking for an upgrade. Of course, you're looking for an upgrade.
It's up to you guys. I mean, all I would say, without it, our movie does kind of fail.
He kind of did save that situation.
Yeah, could have hit a rock. Could have hit a brick wall. So yeah.
Go on, take one.
Oh yes.
All right,
That puts me on 3.
So he's talking to the doctor, and maybe over the doctor's shoulder he sees the TV report.
I don't think he'll need to, because the doctor can tell him. In convincing him that he knows what's happening, he can say to him, "I have seen Jack's body."
Oh.
He can describe describe Jack in detail.
Oh, so from an actual character.
So yes, I think
Yeah.
I think that was I think that's the right idea there.
David turns around to go and ask the others what's up.
I think as soon as he realises what's happened and what they've done, that's probably when he suddenly twigs. That moment when Homer kind of dragged him off. That
So
he
the
must have
penny's
killed
going
him.
to drop for Jack, and he's going to go and...
I think he's just going to get up and leave Dr. Hirsch and just go straight back to their room and to have it out with them, which then puts Hirsch a bit behind him.
Why is Homer going to admit to it? Because without Homer admitting to it, you don't have a scene. I mean, is he just jealous? Is it something as simple as that?
Could be jealous.
I think so. They never really play it up in Near Dark, but there's always that implication that he kind of wanted May for himself, which is why he turned her.
I got the impression that brother and sister, but are you going towards that way that they...
I think so, because he's an old man in a child's body.
Maybe she thinks they're brother and sister, and he
Oh,
thinks...
friend zoned.
Exactly.
Oh.
Ooh, don't friend zone your vampires.
Oh, no, that's a grudge that will last forever.
Yes.
So he wants to hurt him.
Yeah.
So he's just got to confess.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're getting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
How is he actually going to get away? Because at this point, that's him against 5 other vampires.
I think it's a revelation not just for him, but it's a revelation for May as well.
Okay.
It's probably she didn't realise that this is how Homer felt.
Okay.
So she'd get in the way. I mean, I'd say at this point we're going to have raised voices in the room. Dr. Hirsch is obviously trying to find David because he's just run off. Raised voices brings him to the room, and we could insert Dr. Hirsch's entrance into the room in the same way as when Sarah runs out of the room and there's sunlight.
So, what's stopping them from just piling on Kale? Not Kale, David.
May, I should imagine.
Okay. Well, she's gonna...
If you want him, you have to get through me.
And then Dr. Hirsch comes in and...
Thunders into the room.
But it's
sunlight.
Dawn, like it was...
Like it was in that scene where Sarah runs out of the room, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, and they escape.
They grab May and pull her back into the room, but David and Dr. Hirsch escape.
David is going to wrap a blanket around himself or something.
Yeah.
So that's them away.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that one? Do you like it?
It's serviceable. It serves the job, yeah, definitely.
It gets them out of the situation.
Because within their conversation he would have found out what he does, what kind of a doctor he is. So that might give him the idea about, can you do a transfusion?
Transfusion. Oh, right, yeah, no, okay.
Yeah.
So, where would he take him though?
We know Dr. Hirsch is a senior doctor at whichever hospital he works at. So I think from that we can guess that he can smuggle him into the hospital, probably through the morgue. It's a secure area, it's probably not going to have any windows.
Yeah, no, because the morgue won't have any glass doors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that works. It'd be the safest way to get him in.
If you wanted to cheek in a little moment of humour, because he is technically dead, because I need to hide you out of the way, you can hide him in one of the drawers while he goes to sort out about doing the transfusion.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a death becomes her sort of.
Yes, yeah.
It's so dark.
Yeah, that could work. How do we get the climax? How are they going to draw David out?
That is a problem. While we're cogitating on that, we'll say we can do the other bit that we know is going to probably play out okay. They try the transfusion, it works. Technically it's a lot more believable as well in this because they're in a hospital, he's got access to blood.
It's one of those things I do occasionally think about. It's like, so your dad gave you a full blood transfusion entirely by himself?
Yeah. Don't think it quite works like
You need
that.
a few pints of spare blood, otherwise he's going to keel over real sudden like.
Yeah. It's kind of like there's that story about Peter Cushing during the First World War. He was already in America at the time. Couldn't get back over to do his part for the war effort over here.
Wow.
So where he was in LA, he went and gave blood. He gave a pint of blood, walked out of the clinic, keeled over from loss of blood, and they had to put 2 points back into him.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Maybe then this is where we need to bring our Keystone Cops back in. At this point, there's possibly been they've had to give, like the police used to do, like a police press conference.
Yeah.
So they've been on the press conference. So again, we will have to cheat that they've seen that the vampires have seen part of that press conference. Which, considering how much we've already established that they like to stay off the radar, anything that might threaten their security, they will want to know about. So they know what they look like, and then they follow the cops to where they go.
How do we get the cops to the hospital?
Dr. Hirsch contacts the police contact them to say that he wants to see them at this particular hospital. They overhear that and they follow them.
It's a stretch, but I like it.
It is quite a reach, but
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a movie where he randomly bumps into his own sister in the middle of the night.
Mm.
It's not that much of a reach.
If it's done well, then yeah,
So the vampires follow the cops who are heading back to the hospital.
yeah.
Okay, they're there. Now, how do we get them involved? Because they're just outside of a hospital, aren't they?
If we say then that the cops have a meeting with Dr. Hirsch, Dr. Hirsch intimates that he knows where David is and he wants to give himself up.
But he's not giving it away straight away.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
A couple of the vampires come into the hospital to case it out. So if they can find out, so if he is here, they just think that he may be in a bed somewhere.
Okay, right. So they're like looking around the ER and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And Hirsch goes to get David from the morgue while he's bringing them back up to his office to have an interview with the police. They spot each other. About him and, say, Severin or somebody spots them down the end of the corridor.
Uh-huh.
David does a runner. And then we get a chase in the hospital.
Okay, yeah.
To go out leads to go, going outside, literally leaving the
I
hospital?
don't know. I mean, what do we want to do with it? I mean, if we take it outside, he's got more chance of getting away. But as we're coming to the climax of the movie, we take it outside.
You have sun.
Well, this would be at night, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no. I mean, because if we're following through from the logic of the film, they've been pursuing all night and they've stopped paying attention to what time it is.
Can't dawn come.
Okay.
So maybe whilst the chase is happening, the sun is coming up.
He gets them to chase him onto the roof. No, that's stupid.
They're not that stupid, no.
A lot of the ones that we've done with this for the spooky season ones, unfortunately, we've ended up with a downer ending. I'd really like at least one of these to have something approaching a happy ending. As a fallback, then maybe as a fallback ending, if we can't think of another way of doing it that allows David to make it out of this alive, especially considering the fact that he's found the cure for vampirism. It would be a shame that he doesn't actually make it out alive. What I'd suggest is we kind of Halloween 2 this. That he drags them down into the morgue, into the basement of the hospital, throws open a load of gas cylinders and blows them into hell.
I quite like that, because it's not a total downer of an ending, because he's defeated the enemy, if anything, or enemies. He's took, he's...
I suppose it's atonement as well for his part that he's played in these actions. He's present in the death of the truck driver and all of those kind of things. He just stood by and did nothing to stop it.
Like every other way I try to think about this is going to end badly for everybody involved.
I mean,
it's cheeky, but I like it.
I mean, I had another idea where, again, just to feed back into an American Werewolf, that if we wanted to go down that chase route, that we have a big old chase in the underground and it ends up with them, they jump on a train and it just happens to be a train that goes overground as well, and they come outside just as the sun's coming up and blows them all up in the train.
And it's a bit like luring them onto the roof. It requires them to be exceptionally
stupid.
Yeah. Bring them down into the depths where they would think they were safe.
Yeah.
That does make more sense.
And I mean, if we wanted to have a glimmer of redemption in there as well, whilst they're doing the chase around the hospital, he runs into May, tells her to go and hide, and then once this is all over, tells her to go and seek out Dr. Hirsch.
So May isn't there.
So May isn't one of the ones who gets killed.
Well, you see, that elevates it, doesn't it? It's not just a sacrificial ending, but he's saving someone.
Yeah.
That does work.
It does.
It's cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Which, wow. I was so convinced this was going to fall apart in like 5 minutes flat.
Same.
So convinced.
And then so we can even end the film with
May having her transfusion.
Yeah.
And Dr. Hirsch opening the blinds to let her see the sun for the first time in years.
Yeah, I don't know, you could say to her something like, I don't know, so where exactly are you from?
And then she says, near London.
Bang!
Near London.
Give it to her now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, that is just the
She
cherry
says
on the
it
top.
and then the title, near London, or
Yeah.
Q credits.
Q credits.
Featuring Tangerine Dream.
Absolutely.
So somehow, yet again, we have managed to make 2 theoretical movies. So now we just have to decide which one would be our vote for the maybe movie for the month. I think I'm still last. I think you two are still ahead of me, aren't you?
Yeah, afraid so, buddy.
For four.
Oh, yes, indeed.
An American Werewolf in the Dark had some interesting moments. It feels more like a direct parallel of An American Werewolf in London. Even though the settings are different, the beats are the same, and again, we've cheaped locations to an equivalent in that scenario. It's a lot more static, because so much of it takes place just where he lives. He doesn't go off really anywhere, not until the very end of the film. But there are some nice... There's some nice layers in there which we managed to include. Stuff like his sister and things like that.
We did get a layer or two in there,
Yeah.
didn't we? Yeah.
I'm still erring towards near London purely because once you allow for all of the bells and whistles that we don't have the facility to go into in our process here, when you go into the depths of the characterization, the dialogue, and all that, when you add all of those things into it, it feels like a really good road movie. It picks you up at the beginning and spits you out at the end, and it doesn't give you much time for pause. And I like that. It will feel more, for me, that would feel more like a movie experience. It's like, I can breathe now at the end of the film.
So.
And again, obviously, it needs a lot more work than what we've done here, but just on the basis of what we've done here, I think that one has the potential to be the better movie.
You see, I do understand what you're saying. I mean, because there's more going on there, but we managed to put layers into the werewolf movie. And we nearly broke this one so hard.
Possibly part of the reason why I like it so much as well, because we managed not to. I mean, yes, okay, there's a few things here that are a bit stretched, but again, it's a movie. Movie is the home of coincidence. So, my vote for this month is going to be Near London.
I just can't agree with you there. I mean, I know what you're saying. I do see what you're saying, but I don't know if you added anything to Near London, where I felt like we did actually add something to American Werewolf in the Dark. So I think that's going to be my vote for this one.
Okay, so we go to the deciding vote.
Yeah, it's all up to you, buddy.
Thrillers.
I'm with Sam on this one. I think I'm going for American Werewolf in the Dark. I just think it's a nicer, cleaner idea, if that makes sense, of what we've come up with. And,
yeah, cleaner. Yeah.
I think I prefer to watch that one than Near London.
Okay. We are divided, but we do still have a winner with majority rules. So, An American Werewolf in the Dark is our maybe movie for November 2021. If you agree with us, then please do let us know. If you think we're completely wrong, then please do let us know as well, because we'd be very interested to hear what you think.
No, really. Tell us. Tell us.
And now all that remains to do is to... You're still here.
Oh, don't look at me, or...
no, but you're still here.
You're still here. Hang on a minute. What do you think? If we're holding on to him when he goes, You think we might?
It's follow my lead. Oh look, a dragonfly. What are you... It's gone again! Oh, hello, hang on.
Does this mean it's Trent time again?
Now I have a Christmas hat. Ho, ho, ho.
Ba 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 ba.